Welcome to another Discover Jamaica podcast. Now, today we are going to be talking about immigration and immigration laws. So, whether you want to visit the United States or you have a child that you want to send to university, whatever it is, there have been some changes in the law, and we want to inform you, the best way we know how in terms of what you need to know, how you need to prepare yourselves and where you can find information. GB, welcome.
Thank you.
All right. So now today's topic, we're going to be talking about the New Year Proclamation, which is called the PP 10998. Right, GB? Now,
Mhm.
this one was issued on January 1st, 2026, and it's the Presidential Proclamation, and it went into effect, right? Now,
Yeah.
one of the things that came of it is that some countries were banned from entering the United States, and some of those countries were actually Caribbean countries. So, of
Mhm.
course, we as Jamaican citizens, we have, some concerns, some vested concerns as well, and we have to be watching what is happening in other countries, right? So, on this list, there are 39 countries, and on this list, you have Haiti, and you have,
Barbuda.
right, but you have Antigua and Barbuda, right? And they have issued, when I said they, I mean the United States, they have
Yeah.
issued a partial suspension
Mhm.
for Antigua and Barbuda and Dominica, right? And this is centered around something that they call Citizen by Investment Program. Are you aware of that program, Miss GB?
That yes, and we add to that, it's not just the citizens by investment. The crucial section is without residence.
Mm-hmm.
That is a bothering thing for the US.
For the US.
That you
Right.
can be investing and you're not a resident in the country.
All right. So we're going to be jumping into a lot of these things in terms of explaining them. But first, let me just talk about the scope of the restriction. Now, the United States, as it pertains to Antigua and Barbuda and Dominica, they said that this was not a full-on ban, but it was a partial ban. Now, many people go and say, what does that mean, right? What it means, well, what they're saying by their definition is that there will be heightened scrutiny as it pertains to these countries, and there'll be tougher checks. So the application process is going to be a more tedious one. GB, you're itching to say something.
Yes, I'm thinking that really a partial ban. That's very worrisome. It is going to create some kind of anxiety among persons who have visas, who hope to have a visa, because if it's a partial ban and you have strengthened, as it's your right, yeah, to the requirement for a visa, then partial in my head is going to say, when is it going to become a total ban?
Mm,
Therefore, most Jamaicans see it as a ban. I hear people
right,
talking about the ban.
right.
Nobody talks about partial restriction.
And of course, as you rightfully said, there's going to be a lot of anxiety around issues like this. Because the truth is this, whatever is happening in one region affects another region, right?
Yes.
Now, let me just get to what the crux of the matter is, right? What the United States is saying, what bothers them more than anything else for these Caribbean islands is the fact that there is this golden passport loophole, right? Where the White House cited the availability of citizenship without a residency requirement as a primary security concern. So what would happen based on the article is that many people would be going to these Caribbean islands and they're not residents of that island or citizen, and they would apply for a passport. And then once they get that passport, they now apply for a visa as a resident of that island.
Yeah.
Now, what we know about citizenship is this, right? You can gain citizenship in any country if you were born in that country, right? Also by naturalization, then by marriage to a citizen, and then by investment in the country's economy, which I did not know about this last one in terms of investment in our country's economy.
And if a parent or parents were born in that country.
Right, that's by birth.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first one, right?
Right.
So they're saying that the United States now is saying that the final one, the last one that I just mentioned, which is investment in the country's economy, that's how a lot of persons, they are recognizing using the tools from these countries or these islands to enter into the United States, and they want a clampdown on that.
That one was new for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we make ourselves into Americans in the moment, then you would see that is not just a loophole, it seems to be a hangman's noose,
Mm-hmm.
politically and economically. So
Right. Yeah.
we've got to plug that hole.
So other issues include weakness in passport security and data sharing arrangements, and also visa overstay. Now, let me just make this clear. You know, what I mean, it can be a very rough issue, right? But people have them country and they decide a bunch of stuff, right? No different than, you know, for all of us with our homes or whatever it is. Everybody set their own rule as to how they see fit, right? My always biggest concern is for the hardworking people who are in the United States who are trying to make better of themselves. They're not breaking any other country's law, and they are getting targeted in all
Yes.
of this because you have a
Yes.
lot of Caribbean people who are
Yes.
very hardworking. And I
I
feel it
would
for
dare
those
to
people.
say the majority of immigrants, and not just Jamaicans, but the majority of immigrants in the United States, they are there to do just what you say, to make my situation better and the people of my country. So that is a sore point because labor, hmm? Many Americans not employing their fellow Americans, and that is if they want a job.
Mm-hmm.
You
So a
know?
lot of Caribbean people, you know, we capitalize on these
Yes,
opportunities.
yes.
And at the end of the day, I mean, you know, you have hardworking people and they're going to be targeted in all of this. You know, I mean, there are people who, if given a chance, they'll also contribute to the American economy. They'll pay their taxes. They'll, you know, I
They
mean,
do.
they'll help out in so many other
Mhm.
aspects.
They contribute to the taxes. They have cogs, vital cogs in the U.S. machinery.
I
Yes.
agree. No,
So
GB,
yeah.
they have also come up with a statement stating that on the list is possible St. Lucia and St. Kitts
Same kids.
and
Yes.
Nevis, right? So
Mhm.
they could possibly be faced with a ban as well.
Anytime soon.
Yes.
Mhm.
Now, people want to say, well, how did we get to know about all of these countries that were banned? So there was a leaked document, right, which is called the Rubio Memo, right?
Oh,
And it was signed by Secretary of State Marco
Marco.
Rubio
Mhm.
earlier in 2025, right? Where there was a 60-day deadline, right? And the memo had warned 4 Caribbean islands, basically. So it's Antigua and Barbuda,
Exactly.
Dominica, St. Lucia, and St.
Mhm.
Kitts and Nevis, right? That they need to meet a new security benchmark, especially, as it pertains to the restriction. So while Antigua and Dominica were added to the list on January 1st, St. Lucia and St. Kitts and Nevis remain under watch, but were not included in this specific proclamation.
But we have every reason to find it troubling
Mhm.
because you could just add, we are not included. Jamaica is not included in that group yet. It's kind of like we know not the day nor the hour.
Wow.
That's the interpretation. That's how the people feel. And as I keep hearing you, the term good, decent, honest people making a living, contributing significantly to your place. Or you can't just look at the person or look at a name and say, oh, person of Jamaica, we got to deport this one.
And that's where the
No,
anxiety come from. Like, there's a
that's where
lot
it
of
comes
anxiety
from.
from a
Yeah,
lot of people because
yeah,
whether we like it or not, States plays a major role in Jamaica's operation. So we're
yeah.
talking about from remittance. We're talking about tourists visiting the island. We're talking about
Mhm.
countless Jamaicans going up on farm program,
The,
going up on
yes,
work
contract
exchange.
workers, the hotel hospitality workers.
Hmm.
Uh, there, let us not leave this out. We have our medical institutions. However, there are surgical operations that are not available in our country. And usually we look to the United States of America. Sometimes it's not that we have all the people have money to go there, but I, there, sir, it's out there several times. American hospitals, they have provided the medical care. The doctors do that free. Their people give us that and allow our sick people to come there. You just have to pay for your hotel stay or wherever you stay and whatever. And they've been kind. Why you want to just grab that from the living? Are you saying we don't care? You can always die? That's how the people are going to feel.
Yeah. And it brings,
Panic.
a lot of anxiety. I know I have a lot of diaspora members who are viewing, and there are people who want to see their families, and they're concerned, with all of these stringent measures. What does that mean, and what's the implication of that? Oh, by the way, if you are watching this podcast for this long, please remember to subscribe. Oh boy, see my chop up more words. Yeah, remember to subscribe, and we need your support. All right. this channel is growing and it can't grow without your support. It can't grow
No, but,
without, you sharing the
feedback,
content and sharing
right?
your views. So we appreciate that. All right. I mean, we read a lot of your takes, and especially in the comment section and the things that you have to share. So let us continue. Let me just talk about impacting on existing visa holders. Now, we're just going to be discussing, well, primarily the Antigua issue, because the ambassador to the US, who is Sir Ronald Sanders, he stated that if you have an existing visa and you're from Antigua,
No
then
need
you
to
don't have
worry.
to worry, right? It will
But is that
continue to be
really
honored.
true? Is that
GB?
is that really true? That they don't need to be worried?
Wow, with everything that's going on,
Not
GB, I
not
will take
with
all of this
ice,
with a grain of salt.
not with ice, because by the time you turn, that ice would have melted.
True, true. So they're saying that the focus is on the new applicants, and it's going to be extreme vetting, and biometric data updates will apply primarily to those filing new application in 2026.
But that is true. But
Mhm,
and we can understand you're making more stringent laws. I'm trying to think of that vice scripting,
mhm,
and it's tightening on
right.
the Jamaicans, the Caribbean people. But at the same time, it's not totally so, because the Caribbean people in your country, they too are getting a squeeze, because remittance, if you're going to send remittance, now you have to pay, what is it, 1%? But you have to pay an increased fee to send the money. And
Mhm,
then the sender, the, the developing country sender, comes under scrutiny.
mhm.
Should we pack you up and send you up there? Because after all, you're sending money that you earn in my country. Nobody thinks that that person worked for it, but it is my money. Though you worked hard for it, it is my money that you're sending out of my country, and I want my money to stay here.
Yeah, and that's one of the primary concern as well. The
God,
United States has
it's a
said that.
sad time in history.
True. Because the United States has made it clear, especially as it pertains to their taxes, they want people to be paying taxes, and they want the taxes to stay in the US. There are no two ways about that. Right now, if in the process they're going to have to deport people or get rid of people, then they say so be it. So it's a very rough time. Now, why this is very concerning to Jamaica, because we may have people watching in the diaspora and they say, well, I mean, St. Kitts and Nevis or Dominica, none of these places are Jamaica. Yes. However, the vetting and the increased vetting that is taking place throughout the region, not just
Exactly.
these Caribbean islands.
Because I don't know. I there is a feeling that, well, no, I don't think any developing country, no Caribbean country at this point, can sit back and relax and say, "Oh, it's those people. It's not us." We can't. If it affects one, it's going to affect all of us. So that's not it. We need to start coming together as Caribbean people. Unity, I grew up hearing that, is strength. It's not a time to be this selfish country.
Hmm.
I'm only looking about my business. We are being robbed of privacy.
Yeah.
you know,
It's a rough
everything must be exposed. Is
time.
that what it is, Every single thing you have. must see it. Your note to your little friend on WhatsApp and give me a break. All that the young people, well, not a bias against young people, fact, who like to show what they eat.
Mhm.
But I hope when they check those things, they see how much American food our young people eat.
Mhm.
That might be comforting for us.
And some people may argue this because we have to be fair to the argument. Some people say, well, you're coming into my country, right? I can
Yeah,
choose the terms under which I want you to come into my country.
that is so. That is so. But how will don't you believe that the US will not have all that they think they will have? It's going to affect them, don't you think? That because the
I think
big what is the big beautiful one? Tell me
big
about it.
beautiful bill. So
The big
we
beautiful
will talk
bill.
about the big beautiful bill in
There's
another
going to
episode.
be there's going to be a backlash. I don't care if it's a little one or a big one. There's going to
But
be backlash.
my argument is this, GB. I don't think that backlash is going to be big enough to stop them or to stop their momentum because at the end of the day, I keep saying this, right? They're going to be looking at it and saying, well, it's our country and you want to come in our country. So
Right?
you are going to
Nothing wrong
meet
with that.
our conditions, right? If you have a problem meeting our conditions, have no desire to come in our country, whether we like how that sound or not.
So kind of you can take it. You can comply. I'm so sorry. I can't help being the teacher.
Mm.
I know of a policy, if my old head serves me right, of the gunboat diplomacy, the 19th century, I think, somewhere there, or 20th century, also known as the big stick policy,
Mhm.
comply or else. You know the little boy, take it
Mhm.
up or
Mhm.
okay.
And it's also the golden rule, whoever have the gold rules, right? So
I like that.
yeah,
Whoever
you know
has
what I
the
mean.
gold rules. All
So there are a lot
right.
of things that they definitely don't sit right. You know what I mean? They're very uncomfortable, but at the same time, is somebody setting their own rules as to how to enter into their country, and you know what I mean, it's not the easiest of things. Please share your comments in terms of this topic. We are going to be doing a series on immigration and you know what I mean, some of the new immigration rules, because people need to know as much facts as possible, right? And how they can find these facts to navigate these very challenging times, to say the least.
Many of us are islanders, so we just got to learn to swim.
Fair enough. All
And we
right, so
used to.
this was another episode. Remember to please subscribe if you haven't done so already, and look out for the other episode in this series.